Sup, guys? So, special one today. I'm joined by Paul from Lifelike Media, who is, I would say, an OG member of our academy. And he's gone on to just do such incredible things with an agency, worked with some massive names like Floyd Mayweather. And I'm sure Paul's going to unravel that today for you. And I've been wanting to get Paul on this channel for a long time to share his story, share the things that he's learned, his struggles, and so on. So, first of all, Paul, thanks so much for doing this, man. I'm looking forward to it. It's good to catch up. And if you could give everyone a bit of an understanding of like your backstory, like if you could pull yourself back to a couple of years ago when you first started the agency, what triggered that thought and brought you to that point?
Yeah, definitely. So thanks so much for having me on. Always good to connect. So I started actually just like you. We were similar. I was in the events game, and I was doing parties for uni students and schools, pre-formals, after parties, all that. And what we were doing then was creating really nice videos, like making it look class, like the after party vibe, DJs, all that, and then posting them on Snapchat, posting them on Instagram, Facebook, and just really going heavy on the social side. And what ended up happening was the venues and the nightclubs and the bars would come to us and say, how have you managed to fill up a Tuesday night, right? We're normally dead. And I would just say, we've just been pushing video content. We'll run an event, we'll make a video, and it'll people will like it, and then they'll get tickets for the next one. So we ended up then quickly doing videos for those guys, like for the venues, little 300 quid videos. We didn't know how we were even pricing it back then. And then we would send them off. But what happened was those guys wouldn't really know how to post them. They would just set them live once and actually forget about it. So they would kind of waste their £300 investment. And that's when I started being like, oh no, you need to be boosting this post. Back when I didn't really know about ads, I was telling them to boost the post it like 5 times. Like people aren't seeing it organically, like keep cutting it up, do this. So what then they did was ask me to just do it for them. So that's when I found you. I was like, shit, I need to learn how to do ads. So we jumped into the program, like you said, pretty early. I think it was Social Media Marketer back then. And I got the book first. I came through the book funnel.
Nice.
And what I realized was there is a lot of potential in this world. And then I got out of the nightclub scene. I didn't like it as a career path, late nights, all that. So I think I did the dentist one first. I was like, leads for dentists, super, done, let's do it. And we started generating leads for dentists. That was grand. Did the videos for dentists. And then kind of just moved on from there, running the ads, then you did the affluent course, got my brother Jack into that as we started to try and grow. So I was going to do business development. He was going to do fulfillment. So we took your course, and that actually got us quite quickly. I think we were struggling to get to that 5K point that we really wanted to hit. As soon as we hit it and took the course, I think we did 10K the immediate next month.
Nice.
So that was the journey. That takes us up to about, when was that? 2018?
Yeah. So at this point, you're doing ads and everything as well still. So, and yeah, you've now made the migration into content only, haven't you? So what did that look like?
I mean, so we were the e-com, we after doing the course, right, realizing the potential of what we had here, we started to do the e-com brands, scaling e-com. We did ads, email, but we always did content. Because I was doing videos from such a young age, like it never occurred to me that content was like this separate thing. In my mind, I was like, if I'm doing ads, well, I need to show the ad. So say I was selling this water bottle, I would have to make ads for this water bottle. So we did. We had a small little half studio at the back of my dad's house, and we were shooting that ourselves. Anytime an ad fatigued, or if it was like an event coming up, like Christmas, we would go and shoot those ads. And it didn't occur to me. My mind was always content is king. But what really happened that made us scale dramatically, and this kind of happened last year, was other agencies were sending their clients to us to solve the creative problem that we were solving for ourselves, right? Especially after iOS 14. So when iOS 14 came in, everyone started going broad, and content was such a big play. We actually started to acquire more clients in the content only space. And that's when we made a decision that we were going to niche down. We'll go content only. We might have to, say no to a few good ad opportunities, but it's for the long-term growth of what we're trying to build at Lifelike Media. And yeah, that's what we did. We can get deeper into that if you wish. There's a lot of different moving parts, but we decided we'll go content only. But we do still have some of our, let's say, grandfather legacy clients who we have like rev share and actually now equity in as well. So we did keep a few of them.
Love that. It's like that. It's like that age-old debate, isn't it? Like, well, not even a debate. Like when you're first starting out, you're like, you want every bit of opportunity you can get, every bit of money you can get your hands on. So you're like, oh yeah, email marketing, we'll do that. Oh, you want a website redesign, we'll do that. And then all of a sudden, you've got this agency where like you've got team members who are wearing every single hat under the sun. You're kind of half-assing everything. And we've been through the exact same process ourselves. I just said to you, like, just before we jumped on this, like, we started offering every service, like literally email marketing, conversion rate optimization, the bidder content, graphic design, and ads on every platform, like including Snapchat, TikTok, Google, whatever. And it just became a mess. And then you come to some point, you're like, what made me great? Like, what actually makes us great? What is our competitive advantage? And it's like, we've actually just got the best media buyers in the entire industry. They're absolute killers. Let's stop trying to stretch them on doing stuff that they don't actually want to do and feel that friction, and then just empower them to do the thing that they're good at. And obviously that thing for you guys is content, clearly, because you've been able to now build up such a reputation that you've worked with huge names, which is awesome. And I don't even know myself, like, what the journey has been getting to that point, because we haven't caught up in a while. So I would love to know selfishly, what has taken you from, okay, deciding to niche back down into content for obvious reasons, and then actually building enough reputation to work with really big names. What was the first step? Was there like one client who introduced you to another? And how did that look?
It sort of all came about like with momentum. So we were doing everything, but then we were making a more emphasis of like, we're doing everything, but we're also doing content. And then we were trying to upsell content packs. And like you said, we were just stretching people. And what I actually decided to do was talk more about content, both on my sales calls, but also in my value posts that were going out on my organic social. So I was talking about how content like operates, how you need to be testing variations, how you need to be having like, let's say, one core video with 3 variations of the hook to stop that scroll. You need to be building avatar specific content. If you have a product, for example, we had a product, female accessory brand. We were targeting the traveler, the golfer, and the gym goer. And we put out 3 different pieces. And what actually happened was the traveler piece didn't really land, but the golfer did really well. So we took that concept, scaled it out, did more variations of golfing content, and the brand is just scaling. And that all came from me just seeing that as ad buyers as well. So we did know that to be true. And then, like I said, momentum. So we're doing that. We're talking more about it. And then we started to get to the point where we wanted to just have an outbound funnel specifically for content. So this is where it gets, let's say, exponential. When was it? End of summer last year. So let's say like September, shortly after my birthday, right enough, we decided to do this whole transition. We set up a new landing page, just discussing the creative package that we offer and how it can change, basically how it can help scale businesses, showing those examples that we already had from ourselves. And that's how we're landing really good clients. Also my outreach, to name some of the good ones that we managed to get early on. We have 2 really successful Dragon's Den success stories in our client roster. So they were also able to connect us with some other people who did really, really well. And that started to give us confidence. We landed a guy who was on The Apprentice, did really, really well in The Apprentice. He has a brand, managed to work with him. And then from, like I said, speaking about TikTok, UGC, this is my conversation daily on social. I'm asking brands, why aren't you considering this? You don't need to hire a full production team anymore. You can do this with your phone. And that noise actually landed with head of e-commerce for a brand called Stat Sports, which is the data tracking for all the soccer players, football. I don't know why I said soccer, football players and the rugby players. So they had me come in. I pitched their CMO all about content. Now they'd spent £1 million on they call it TVC campaign, television commercials, like high quality stuff, floodlights, high end athletes. Spent £1 million, and there was me sitting across the table trying to pitch them that $5,000, you only need $5,000. Like, forget that million. We'll beat your results with a $5,000 pack.
Yeah.
And that was our claim. And obviously it sounds ridiculous. So they give us a test. They give us a test run down in Dublin. We created this UGC, running about with our phones, trying to get all this content, doing like the transitions for TikTok, created the deliverables, and yeah, the test ran and beat their brand style pieces.
That's fucking
So
awesome.
that created a big stir of conversation internally for them. Okay, maybe we should be looking at this more seriously. Let's get them back in with our key ambassadors, and that was Harry Kane, Phil Foden, Tyler Adams, Captain USA, Raheem Sterling, Harry Maguire, all these guys. And we had to go fly out. I actually just dropped a YouTube video on it if anyone wants to see it. Shameless plug. But we fly out, we actually shoot with these guys, and we're fully giving them their phones, like teaching them how to do this. Like do the transitions, do the swipes with these guys, like the biggest sports stars in Britain. And it was a quite a surreal experience, but it all comes back. It all existed because we were just niching into content and telling the community, the people on our organic socials, that this is the way it is working right now on social, and to at least try it.
Love that. That's awesome. That's so good that you outperform their team. Isn't it amazing? Like how I always, my first taste in the corporate world is like such a shock as to like how much money gets spent and wasted in corporate. Like I did Cupra, say it Cupra. They reached out to me like a year and a half ago. And I did like 5 training videos for their sales team on social media, 100 grand for 5 training videos. It took me like 2 days. It's crazy the money that those companies would spend, but also waste, because there comes a point. I remember that someone once told me, it was actually not someone once told me, when I first wanted to launch the Affluent brand and I created the Affluent logo, or I wanted an Affluent logo, I wanted to reach out to like a really good logo designer. I was like, oh, this would be cool. So I reached out to the guys that did the Airbnb logo. I kid you not, like how much do you reckon they quoted me for like just logo design? Like
for those guys, I would say like 10 grand.
No, 120k pounds, yeah, for a logo design, right? And I moaned to someone about it who was like big in the industry, like he got a lot of cash. And he was like, the problem is like what you don't realize is these people are pitching corporate all the time, and like sometimes with corporate, like if you don't go in at the big price, they don't think you're worth it because they just like hear the big price. So like it's a nice like stab good win to be able to outperform someone's £1 million like campaign with like 5 grand, like that's a nice win.
Yeah, especially because like you said, in corporate there is levels to this. So the initial conversation with head of e-commerce where I'm pitching this, and he kind of gets it, he's seeing the data as well, so he's like, that is interesting, let's have a meeting with the CMO. Then I have that meeting, he's saying that's interesting, pitch it to my whole company. Then I had to go in, pitch it, and then they had to clear it, and then we had to do the example. So you see, like with those amount of steps, whereas you get these like rogue, let's say DJ and ecom brands who just already get it, and they're just throwing money at UGC creators left, right, and center, and they scale quickly. Whereas this really corporate brand has so much structure. But again, if we weren't specializing, if we weren't really aware of what we were talking about in this space, you wouldn't even got a sniff of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. There's a couple of things I just want to break down on that. And just first of all, do you have that funnel to hand? Like, can you show us the landing page that you launched, or is that not a live page anymore?
Yeah, it's live. We have loads of them because we split test them all.
It'd be cool for the guys to see this for context, because I think that some people really like when they listen to calls like this, they'll convince themselves that they're so far away from being able to achieve something like this when actually people don't realize how close they are. So yeah, I've enabled screen share, so you should be able to share your screen if you just want to show us like a funnel quickly.
This is just the first one. When I hit I have like 6 or 7 variations, but this is basic. This is ClickFunnels 101, right? So to me in my studio, my hook is e-commerce brands between 10 and 50K will guarantee, hang on, my bar's in the way.
Yeah, I've got
we'll guarantee increase your ROAS or less with our conversion focused ad creatives. Boom. Yep. Watch the video, and you can go and watch that there, lifelikecreative.co.uk, schedule a call. And then we just have this pretty standard call system. Like everything goes into our Asana leads. We have a setter who's dialing any lead that doesn't book a call. And then typically I'm taking the calls, but we're now in America as well. So I actually have an Australian closer who's closing whenever, let's say, I'm sleeping. So one setter, one closer, and me also closing, handling all the leads that come through this. And this would be our paid ad system. Similarly, we have the Lemlist system where we loaded up like 78,000 leads. I have like a 6 email drip, and that brings some clients as well. But this one is definitely better.
That's also, I'm really, like, I'm glad, because I was suspecting this would be the case. And like, this really does show people like how, like, this is not a complex funnel. You won't mind me saying, this is as simple as ClickFunnels 101, like down back door kind of like, here we go, let's rustle this bad boy up and record a video and make it go live. You know, like, this is something.
Shot on my phone, like.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something that people cannot achieve. And again, people convince themselves that they're so far away from doing that. It's just, you got a nice value proposition to a market with a new message that people want to hear. And there's so many of those opportunities right now. It's always just picking out the thing that everybody else isn't doing, or even calling out the thing that everybody is doing, in a new light. You know, so there's a couple. You've had like this big progression in this kind of midst of moving into like these bigger clients, and I think many people limit themselves to actually even getting those opportunities in the first place, because people always just mess around in the agency space thinking, oh, it's a small client. It's just like, we go for the little guys, like super intimidated by big conversations, understandably, because it's very intimidating if you've never done that before. So how did you develop yourself? How did you prepare yourself to actually even be able to sit in a board full of people with probably some of your biggest sports idols and actually be able to hold your own weight and have enough confidence to deliver on that pitch?
Yeah, I suppose, I mean, one part of it would be my personality. Like, I do feel comfortable in that situation naturally. But also I have done it where I've like pitched like real estate agents back in the ads days. Like, I've just been confident in what I'm delivering. And at the end of the day, I'm the expert in the room, right? They've asked me to come into their office, not the other way around. So they want to hear what I have to say. And as long as I just trust what I am saying and I'm not bullshitting anyone, then, you know, you're okay. You can fall back on that. It's a data-driven industry that we're in. It's all analytics. If they want to question anything, they can just call up the data. And that's actually, you know, what they did then for me, which is really, really sound. Like, we did a few extra deliverables, no problem. I just asked for a face to camera case study after. And they opened up their account and they told me, we 4x the amount of sessions for the same amount of spend. We 3.8x the amount of thumb stop from your creatives versus our creatives. And this listed every single data point of where we were better versus them. And, you know, now I have that forever, that case study with, you know, biggest sports stars in the world. We 4x'd it for them. Right. So now I have that confidence. But going into that room, was I scared? Like, I was nervous, obviously. I'm not saying I wasn't. But I was confident in what I was delivering, and I was prepared with a little bit of a slideshow. Here's who we've worked with before. Here's some results we've achieved before. Here's what I am proposing you do. And at the end of the day, I wasn't trying to pitch them like $100,000 service. I was saying, let's just do a test. Because if we do a test and you prove that it works, then I'm going to feel more comfortable, and, you know, you're going to feel more comfortable about signing us on. Love it. Yeah.
How did that then transition from, was it this relationship that then transitioned into you doing stuff in the boxing world? Because obviously you're working with, you said Tommy Fury at the moment, and then a little bit with Floyd Mayweather. So was it that relationship that then snowballed into the rest? Or was this completely different situation?
Completely different situation. But again, like, doing the work, just hustling out there, putting out it's a little bit serendipity. So 10 years ago, I roomed with a guy in Australia, believe it or not, when I was traveling. And then as I developed my agency, he went on to get into the fight world in events management. Because I was talking so heavily, like, you need to be putting out content. This is even pre-summer last year when I was talking about ads still. You need to be running ads. You need to be running TikTok ads specifically. You know, it's 4 times cheaper, whatever. He just hits me a message. He's like, hey, I'm in this boxing space. Like, the guys are running this event. They're selling a pay-per-view. You know, do you want to maybe like send a proposal about how you could potentially sell more pay-per-views? Loads of them are TikTok stars. And I was like, yeah, no worries. So put together one of our basic proposals for ads. And it turned out it was like Sol Pappy, who's like killing it right now in the boxing game. It was the Showstar event. And we landed that event back, it was last summer. So we did that event, did really well. That we actually ended up getting the next event, which was called Kingpin. That was like Ed Matthews, Ella Brooke, Simple Simon, all these bloody TikTok. I didn't follow them myself, but I understood like 14 to 16, 18-year-old males were all over this. So we were just peppering them with content. So Kingpin went really well. And we were actually I said this before, like, we're in uncharted territory with them, because we were scaling their pay-per-view, which is $6.99, and we were cleared to spend up to £4 per acquisition, and we were hitting £2-3 acquisitions like lightning. So what we ended up doing, funny story, was actually we maxed out the company's credit card, we maxed out the director's credit cards, and then we put my own personal Amex on the account and maxed out my personal Amex. We couldn't even spend enough. We were up at 20 grand a day, and we just physically couldn't spend enough money to get these, because we only had a small window left to get these profitable acquisitions. And it was wild, but it was class. So of course that was a very profitable event for them. And then I got to throw my hat. I did another one in between then. It was okay. But that's when I got the chance to throw my hat into the Floyd Mayweather ring. And actually, quick thing that's going to touch back on what you said with the corporate thing. So I pitched for it. I had to send a proposal, and I sent it, and I didn't know how to price it, because we were going to do all their ads, and we were also, going to manage their content. So I pitched it so high. Like, I knew that it was going to cost over 10 million to get Floyd there. So I knew that it was Money Team running this, but I didn't know who, I didn't know budgets or nothing. So I went super, super high. And the other agency who was competing against me went really low, like $3,000 or whatever.
Okay.
So they must have just anchored themselves, I assume, and just went, okay, this agency has clearly done this before. They're pricing themselves like an agency who knows what they're talking about. So they actually discarded the other agency, brought me in. But what they did is they beat me down on price. But there was so much margin there that this is still our biggest ever contract. But as they were beating me down on price, I was negotiating like, okay, if you're going to bring us down to here, fly me, my brother, my media buyers over to Dubai, all expenses, hotels. So they did everything. So we all got over for the full week to Dubai for the fight. And I can go deeper into Dubai. There was some pretty good opportunities there. But I mean, that's how I landed that gig, first of all.
That's awesome. Did you get to meet Floyd?
Yeah, got to be Floyd. So because we were doing content, we came over with all the equipment, and we were running all their ads, and we were in the group chats with them all, being like, say this about this, like say this about Deji, like Slabber, like we'll cut it and we'll put it into TikTok. So we were familiar with all the team and the management and everything. Got to meet Floyd, and my original role was going to be vlogging Floyd's fight week. So I was going to be there in the changing room, in like everything. But on the first day, Floyd was very cold, standoffish.
Of course. He's
not like, he's a bit of a douche, really. Like, really successful guy, absolute legend, but he's not trying to communicate with you. Like, so, but on the flip side,
can't you? You can. No.
Yeah, of course. Like, he'd sit in the car for 2 hours and just be late for no reason, and then open the door, go do his thing, and then go back into the car again. So one of our other videographers, he handled Floyd, and I actually got to do Tommy Fury. So it's like whenever you're with these celebrities, you only get a small moment of time to make an interaction and to make an impression. So I was just like flying the wall, shooting the content. But then I was like sending him a reel from the day, sending that to him. Oh, that's really good. Having a conversation, being genuine, and like good to be around, and actually giving them some value back in form of content. That they then invited me to the midnight training session at his villa. So I got to shoot in his villa. I got to meet Big John, got to do all that crack. We're actually just sitting down trying to find his walkout tune. They were taking my suggestions and walkout tunes, and we're just building this little bond, which is really, really awesome. And then I was sitting there, I was like, lads, you don't even have a TikTok. Like, you're one of the biggest celebrities in the world right now. You don't even have a TikTok. So we set him a TikTok up there and then, put the reel up that we had for him, sent him another reel the next day and another reel the next day. So to this day, Tommy's top 3 reels are our content, but he hasn't done any more for some reason. So that's like, where's the lesson there? It's just trying to bring value wherever you go to these people. And they're not like, they're obviously big celebrities and you can feel that energy when you're around them, but they're human beings, you know what I mean?
At the end of the day, like, but you're just earning your stripes, isn't it? Like, you get why these people aren't going to give the time initially, because you can imagine the amount of people that are just sucking ass to try and get the opportunity that you've got, but you've earned the stripes for the opportunity, which actually puts you, all right, sure, not a level playing field in their industry, but from a respect standpoint, as a man to man, you offer value to someone, then they're going to like trust you, and they're going to give you that time. And that's That's so incredible, man. I'm so stoked for you to have that opportunity. And those relationships open so many doors. I feel like within like the agency space, I just think there's a business full stop, like not even agency. Like you have to do the grit and do the graft and like the shit behind scenes, like on your own, like that kind of shit gritty bit that 99% of people aren't prepared to do. You know, like 99% of people don't get past that first 6 months. And then it just starts getting easier. And then the relationships is everything, especially if you're like, I mean, like we're talking differently now about like the fighting the pay-per-click thing, which I think is an awesome angle. But many people watching this will be like in the e-com space. And I think especially this is important in the e-com space. The e-com space is now one of those spaces that is transpiring to just almost like a pure relationship space. Like you can do the grit and you can get to like 20K or something like that. But if you actually want to be someone and work with the big brand, it is pure relationships, pure just like value driven type situation. So like, yeah,
I'd say it's like the relation. And the other time is like there is a little bit of luck involved, but you have to be ready for that luck. Do you know what I mean? You have to be prepared to
take that flight and get out there, or get out at midnight and sit there looking at tunes when you're thinking, this isn't my job. You have to do the shit.
But that's way better than anything. Like that's what I say. Like we're optimizing for fun the last few years. Our company has brought so much opportunity to have fun, work with cool brands, work with cool people, work around the world. Now we're kind of optimizing for growth, business, and profit. But then, like this was November, and sitting with Tommy, that's a surreal moment. I'll never forget that. And I had that opportunity to do that and get paid to do it. Yeah. And then from that trust bond, I was able to get in, the changing room after the fight. I'm sitting with Molly May. I'm chatting to her. She does a video selfie to my girlfriend just for fun, just because, they trust us enough. We're not, sending their personal stuff all on the internet. And yeah, like I feel blessed and really lucky to have those opportunities. But once you get them, are you able to execute on them? Are you able to put the work in? You have to put more work in on the execution than like the grind to get the job in the first place, which is what I've been trying to tell some people, because they'll send 100 DMs and they'll do everything they can to get on the phone call and then close the deal. But then they're not putting that much effort in and actually the fulfillment of the ad. Are they creating variations? Are they going above and beyond to make this relationship work that you fought so hard for?
Yes, it's the offer. It's like, it's so important. You can't craft an amazing offer or like get a good reputation if you're not focusing on your service. You mentioned Dubai, and it seemed like you had something to say there. Like I've got some like some interesting opinions on Dubai as like a placement, and you see a lot of people in our space in Dubai, and there's a lot of opportunity there. But you've clearly set up an office. You were just talking about you just bought a new apartment, and so you haven't gone down that path of moving out to Dubai like so many people for chasing the tax thing. So I would like to hear your perspective on your opinion on Dubai as a place, and also like you kind of mentioned it, so I presume you've had some opportunities come up the place as well.
Yeah, I mean, I was very lucky in that I did a lot of travel. I'm not 30 yet, but I've already traveled to 40 countries and I've lived in a bunch of them. So I don't have that desire anymore to be away. But that being said, like I spent a lot of time in Lisbon. I spent a lot of time in Marbella. I love that you can set up a business and run it from anywhere. Dubai, I liked it, but my personal opinion of Dubai is like it's so fabricated and it's new and it's... I don't even want to say it, but it's like the ecom bros are there.
The ecom bros and the crypto bros, and I find that quite soulless. Like that's like
it is. It is. And for me, like I love Lisbon. It's like it's a melting pot of culture. It's old. The history's there. There's no history in Dubai. There's no, like you said, there's no soul. There's something that doesn't attract me to Dubai. Yet there is things that do attract. There's opportunity there as well, which I do love. And Dubai was where we did the fights. So we had the key. I was in a Rolls Royce with the guy who has the number 50 registration number, and he was just driving me around because I was doing the content, and like there's no door that he can't open. So it's incredible for those reasons, but I wouldn't live there. But in terms of the business thing, I have a co-director. We might do it. We might do it where you're going to have to spend 90 days like there, I think it is now, to get the tax relief. So there's potential.
You only have to spend 90 days?
Yeah, so it was 180 and now it's 90.
Don't you have to spend, like, you will still have to spend in another like 3 months or 4 months in another country outside of the UK, presumably?
I don't know. I don't believe so. I mean,
Well,
there is that loophole now. We're exploring it. We just got a CFO who's helping us guiding us through that. So there is an option where you spend 90 days. You basically have to set your business up there. It's a complicated one because, yeah, we have the office now. We just invested an 18-month lease in a 1,200 square foot studio, completely custom built for our requirements. So do I want to leave this? Not really. But my brother, who's like operations director, doesn't leave his laptop. He doesn't shoot. Do you know what I mean? He's a customer success. He's operations. He can run the business from Dubai if he needs to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that dilemma that I think so many of us have to face. Like, you get to a certain point financially where it's like, even if it doesn't feel right as like, oh, I can see myself living in this place long term, the amount of money you're paying on tax just becomes like this unignorable kind of like burden. It's like, it's insane.
It's disgusting.
It's insane what you end up paying out. So especially in the UK, like, we just get stung.
Yeah. So. I think, and we're over it. Like, to be honest, I'm completely over it. I hate that moment when the bill comes in, and because you look great and then you just empty in your account like every 3 months. So we are going to explore something, definitely. But I don't think anyone needs to worry about that until they're like maybe like 70, 75K, and everything's working so well. Systems are fired, team's good. You've got consistency, and that's when you need to make that change. So
we're exploring. There's a few countries like Italy. You can do like a 100K flat rate tax, and then like after that's fine, you're done. So it's like, you're an expat, you pay 100K tax, then you're done. So if you're earning millions, like, it's a no-brainer, or even if you're earning 1 mil, like, it's still a no-brainer. You're still saving like 300K or something like that.
Yeah, and you got Cyprus at 5%, you got Malta at 5%, you got options.
Yeah,
but you have to weigh up quality of life as well and what you really want. So definitely, after a certain limit, UK, they make it very, very difficult for businesses to stay here.
100%. Paul, if you just reverting back to just something for the guys that are kind of fresh in the game now, if based on everything you know now and the position that you brought the agency to, what would you say are the 3 most fundamental things to consider when building an agency right now, if you actually want to build a real agency with real meaning?
Okay, the first thing I would do is I honestly would niche. And I know that people say this and no one really listens to that, but we would be a year and a half ahead of ourselves had we have niched sooner. And I would say get very specific on that, especially at the start, because the hardest parts when you're growing is, getting that quantity of DMs, getting that quantity of email. And if you have to write a fresh email every time you hit a different brand and a different industry, it becomes, compounding. It becomes too much. You're going to lose. So you have to be niching, I would say. The second to that is what I've discovered, what exponentially grew us was the ascension model. So there's a lot of guys, especially starting out, who believe for whatever reason that they must charge £1,500 a month to do their service. And I don't know who told them it or why they think that they have the opportunity, the gumption to charge that when they haven't even got those results. Do not be afraid to charge £700 a month, $750, and build a relationship with your client who you've worked so hard to land, but build in the ascension. So there's a 3-month contract. We'll do 750 quid a month. But once we hit that target, which you're discussing in your discovery calls and your sales calls, once you hit that target, let's consider increasing the spend, maybe moving you from Facebook onto TikTok as well. And with that, our service fee increases slightly. And no business owner, after a 3-month period of seeing you do your job well, seeing the money return, is going to say no to an increased level of service for a slightly more money. And I just think you'll actually be miles ahead of the other agency owners who are not taking those £750, £1,000 contracts because they think they have to be closing at 1,500.
Agree, man. Agree.
The ascension has also helped us, because even when we're closing, we had 5, 6, 7K contracts that ascended into revenue shares and ascended into 20K a month because of that. And it all just came from starting at $1,000, going to $2,000, going to $5,000 across the board with the content pack, going to revenue share. and now working on equity deals. So don't think you have to start there. Take the first step, take the first bite, and just get the deal done and improve your worth. Like what we were saying earlier, Jordan, like you have to put in that work. So once you get the deal closed, put in the work and earn your 1,500 or your $2,000 fee. So what was that? That was two. What's a third one? I would say optimizing your environment. I think it's very hard for the younger teams, like the younger guys, to not get carried away and go, okay, maybe I've made enough to quit my job. Maybe I'm on like 2, 3, 4K. Now I'm a baller. I'm a business owner. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go to the club and get the bottle in. Mm-hmm. I think that is the fastest way to demise. Like, you will fuck it up if you do that. Your ego will get all checked out and, you'll think you're this guy that you're not. So try and optimize your environment. Try and get some really, really good routines. Try and build long-term. I used to have a really nice car. I actually downgraded my own car, even at the level we're at, just because I don't care that much about the car I drive right now. I care about what the fleet that I will own, in the next 3 years. So I think optimizing your environment, getting a nice desk, a good space, avoiding distractions, cutting away from actual people, potentially friends. It's very, very difficult to say to people to cut from their friends if they are pulling them in this negative direction. But yeah, see those three things: niching, don't be afraid to get them low and ascend them high, and optimizing your environment. Like that will change the game for you, 100%.
Fantastic advice, Paul. Love it. So you've been smashing out YouTube at the moment. I don't know if you're still putting out videos at the moment, but I know like you're putting out some great content. So I'll put a link in the description to your channel. Guys, you should definitely go and follow that channel and see what Paul's doing at the moment. Like if you really want, there's very few people in the agency space that are truly transparent about all the shit they're actually doing. And this space is full of people that talk so much shit about the things that they do, but never actually show it, and I love that you guys are showing the inside out of that. So definitely go check out the channel. Other platforms to follow you on. Obviously, you're a great example of a good personal brand right now. So what channels are you mostly pushing and what links should I get in the description?
Instagram's always great for us. So our Life Like Media Instagram, my own personal, Paul.Belfast. So I sort of show like the fun side and the travel side. We're on TikTok as well, Life Like Media. And yeah, of course, the YouTube. So all those stories we told about the fighting, the boxing matches, working with Hurricane, all those videos are up on YouTube. So yeah, it's not cap. You can actually go see it for yourself. And that's probably help. YouTube's hard, man. It's so
oh man, it's a grind.
We don't even have the resources for it. We're just kind of like, when we get a chance, we're like, you quickly edit that and we'll get that up. We're not consistent, but maybe soon.
Yeah, it's difficult, man. But it's like everything. You have to pick your battles, like put out your fires, So you've got a lot of shit going on. So
here, and anyone listening, like I'm here right now because I used to watch Jordan's YouTube videos. Do you know what I mean? Full circle, like.
Yeah, I love it, man. Well, you've taken that thing and it's all on you, dude. You've absolutely fucking killed it. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you for doing this. And yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. Go check out Paul and chat to you on a bit.